Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jack Stedman Responds. So, the other day, Ivanka Trump was at a global women's issue panel or something in Germany and got booed, and it looked like this.
I'm very, very proud of my father's advocacy long before he came to the presidency, but during the campaign, including in the primaries. He's been a tremendous champion of supporting families and enabling them to thrive in the new reality of
you hear the reaction from the audience. So.
Now, some people were defending Ivanka, and I think rightfully so, and I'll talk about that more later. But Rebecca Watson, a feminist and journalist and, quote, skeptic, she was happy to see that Ivanka was booed and seems to have a lot of animosity towards her, but I think it's more focused towards her father. And I just wanted to look at Rebecca Watson's video about this incident because it's a good example of feminist hysteria surrounding Donald Trump and how they really kind of missed their mark with their claims about him. You know, they go to he's a racist, sexist, misogynist pig who think all women are his property, when they could keep all of their problems with Donald Trump in the realm of reality. They don't have to make these absurd claims to show why Donald Trump is not a particularly great president and why he's probably not qualified for the job. There's a lot of arguments to be made about why Donald Trump is not great, and you don't have to make things up and misinterpret quotes. But you'll see what I mean, and you probably already have if you go on social media or have a Facebook or have any liberal friends. This is a widely popular view about Trump, that he is just this total danger to women and society. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself here. Let's jump right into her video.
Ivanka Trump, brain-dead puppet and progeny of a bombastic, racist game show host who is now President of the United States of America, was recently invited to a women's summit in Berlin.
So right off the bat, you can see that she is not charitable at all. She's very quick to insult Ivanka, call her a brain-dead puppet, even though Ivanka should be Rebecca Watson's ally. Ivanka is very close to Trump and is very left-leaning and seems to be pushing a lot of feminist, liberal agenda stuff. She seems to care about women's issues. That's like why she was on the panel in the first place. You should be excited that she is so left-leaning and is hopefully influencing her father. So I don't know why you have so much animosity towards your would-be ally.
Why? Well, she's a woman, and 36 years ago, Donald Trump ejaculated into her mother. She's really earned this, you guys.
Now, I don't know Ivanka Trump's history. I don't know if she's accomplished anything on her own. But I think it's fair to have her on a women's panel, given that her father is the president of the United States and that she has a lot of money and influence. We're talking about her right now. Clearly, she's an important figure in society today. Whether or not she earned that is probably, I don't think that matters that much. You know, it would be cool if all the women on the panel earned good things and earned their position there, but the fact that she was born into wealth doesn't change the fact that she's very important today.
If you think that I'm being a little too harsh on poor Ivanka, don't worry, you're not alone. And I'm not alone either, actually. When Ivanka stated with a completely straight face during the Women's Summit that her father is a tremendous champion of supporting families and enabling them to thrive, the audience rightfully booed her.
So when Ivanka says that Trump has been a champion of supporting families, I think, from what I understand, it's specifically in regards to supporting maternity leave, not feminist agenda in general, not women's rights in general. I think she is specifically talking about maternity leave here.
And when news of the brutal booing hit the internet, men rushed to defend her, even liberal men. especially liberal men.
Yeah, I think Rebecca Watson just got red-pilled on the fact that cucks exist, and they're mostly on the left. But to be fair, and we'll get into this in a sec with the articles you're about to mention, there are good defenses for Ivanka's behavior. You know, she's Trump's daughter. Of course she's going to defend him, but I'll get into that in a sec.
Take Chris Chalitza from CNN, for example, who wrote an entire article about why the booing was so mean and wrong. Poor Ivanka is Trump's daughter, and according to him, she should never be criticized for defending him.
I don't think it's unreasonable to say that it's okay for children to defend their parents. They may not be correct, but I don't think we can expect anyone to go against their parents in the public sphere, especially when so many people are watching when it comes to the Trumps. Uh, I don't think it's fair to say, like, no, you should stand against your own father who raised you and has given you everything you have.
Even if she is defending his view of women, which, as a reminder, he thinks of as being sexual objects available at all times for his pleasure, including Ivanka.
So that sentence is why I decided to make this video, because it is the quintessential example of feminist hysteria surrounding Trump. There's a couple quotes that this comes from. One is the 2005 Billy Bush tape. What is it? The Access Hollywood tapes, where Trump says that when he sees beautiful women, he just can't help himself. He just kisses them, and when you're rich, they let you do it. So clearly, he's talking about women that let him do it. If he actually sexually assaulted anyone, then he would have gotten sued. Charges would have been pressed against him, right? Like, we've seen Donald Trump in public and not just rabidly assault women without control. Like, and this is one of the quotes where feminists are all too happy to take Donald Trump at his word when we know that almost everything he says is overblown BS. He talks out of his ass a lot. He tweets a lot of stupid shit. And but this is the one thing where he's absolutely right about himself. No, he can't help himself. He said it himself. But the Access Hollywood tapes were not about sexual assault. They were about the company that Trump keeps, and they were about the fact that women will let you kiss them or touch them if you have a lot of money, and that's okay if it's consensual, and if it's not, then they should have sued him. And in regards to including his daughter, there was that one quote about how he said that his daughter was hot, pretty much, and that if she wasn't his daughter, maybe he'd be married to her, or that's not the exact quote, but you know what I'm saying. You probably heard it. And feminists were super excited about this because then they could claim that he's like this awful, gross guy that wants to sleep with his daughter. But I think her beauty goes without saying. Like, Ivanka Trump is a pretty woman, and Trump is not very tactful in the way he recognized that. But you have to remember that she is still supporting and defending him. So clearly he hasn't done anything that bad to her. I don't think Trump has ever sexually assaulted Ivanka in any way. He just says stupid crap. This is the story of Trump. He says stupid crap all the time, and you just need to get past that. Sorry, like, let me know when he does things that matter. I don't really care about what he says. So, anyway, this is the hysterical feminist position about Trump, is that he thinks all women, including his own daughter, are just sexual objects for his pleasure, and it's based off of misinterpreting a couple quotes and not giving him any benefit of the doubt, not being charitable at all. It's just, it comes from a place of wanting to witch hunt him. They have reasons to not like Trump, and that's okay, but it makes them want to go after him in ways that aren't correct, in my opinion, and it drives me up the wall. And that it's part of the reason why I've gone more towards the center, especially on on my Facebook feed, because I get a lot of this crap on my Facebook feed. It's just this hysterical lunacy. Ah, ah.
Or there was Dr. Munir Kazmir at HuffPo, who whines that not only should we not boo Ivanka for defending her father's views of women, but cheering her when she does that. Why? Well, his article is nearly impossible to parse because it's so full of hand-wringing and navel-gazing, but it seems that he thinks that she is actually a very progressive person, and she is having a huge impact on her father, even when she's saying that her father treats women just fine.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Yes, Ivanka should be your ally, Rebecca. She is on the left. She is pushing liberal, progressive values. And no, Dr. what's his name? Munz Kazmir. His article isn't impossible to parse, and I think you're kind of just dismissing it by calling it navel-gazing. But I'm just going to read one chunk of it, and I'll link it into the description so you can read the article, because I think it's pretty relevant. So here's the most important chunk, I think. Take a look at the donation histories of both Ivanka and her husband, Jared Kushner. Then take a look at some of the policies that Ivanka has publicly pushed, such as paid maternity leave and universal child care. Ivanka and Jared are lifelong liberals, and Ivanka couldn't even vote for her father in the primary because she never changed her registration. Truth is, if her father hadn't been running, it seems likely Ivanka and Jared would have both voted for Hillary Clinton. They may very well have donated to her as well. Now, this is the argument. She's left-leaning. She should be your ally, but instead you're freaking out because you think Donald Trump has been so awful to women that there's no way that she could support him or defend him. And bear in mind that Ivanka Trump probably knows Donald Trump a lot better than you, Rebecca. You probably only know his public persona, but Ivanka was raised by him, so probably has a better grasp on his character.
It's a shame those guys spent so much time writing those articles, because maybe if they hadn't have been, they would have instead been reading the news that while Ivanka was on stage at the Women's Summit talking about how much Donald Trump loves women and about how she is, and I quote, striving to think about how best to empower women in the economy, both domestically and across the globe, someone leaked the fact that Donald Trump has already planned to completely obliterate the State Department's Office of Global Women's Issues, which leads the charge to make sure that American women are involved in U.S. politics while also tackling global issues like sexual violence and gendered economic equality.
This is the kind of thing that will bring out the MRA in me, the fact, and the nationalist in some ways. The fact that we had a global office of women's issues, that we have a government-funded program to help women get into politics specifically because the soft bigotry of low expectations, they need help. They need that extra push. They need that extra government funding to help them get into the government so that they can procure more funding for more women, I guess. And I don't understand why we need a government office focused on global women's issues. That doesn't seem like the place of the United States government at all. As someone who thinks that taxation is theft and would rather my money stay domestic unless I choose to give it charitably, it frustrates me that we would even have such an office. So I'm okay with that kind of thing being cut. And it also seems to be a proponent of, say, the wage gap. You mentioned gender economic inequality, which, at least in the West, as far as I can tell, is not real. It is a myth. I debunked it in the last feminist response video I did. I'm not going to do it again. I think most people already realize that it's a myth, and if you don't realize that, then just look it up. Just look up wage gap myth, and you'll find plenty of information. Or as I would like to recommend, look up Christina Hoff Sommers' series, The Factual Feminist. She has probably more than one video about it, and they're fantastic. But anyway, that kind of office is the embodiment of, again, the soft bigotry of low expectations of women, which I don't like. It is absolutely anti-egalitarian. I don't know why it can't just be an office of human rights issues. Like, if we're gonna have a global department to help people across the world, why is it just for women? Why isn't it for everyone? Why isn't it for people? And maybe it ends up that women are the people who need it the most, and most of the money goes towards women in certain countries or whatever. But having it be gendered from the get-go is discriminatory and wrong, in my opinion. So I'm happy to see that department go, and yeah, fuck it.
It would be ironic if we didn't already know that that's exactly the sort of thing that Trump would do.
Just one last thing on that. It shows that he is a nationalist, and it shows that he doesn't like erroneous nanny state spending. It shows that he doesn't like ridiculous amounts of foreign aid. It doesn't necessarily show that he doesn't care about women just because the thing is called the Department of Women's Issues, or whatever it was actually called, the Office of Global Women's Issues. Sorry. Just because it's called that doesn't mean shutting it down means you're anti-women.
So fuck Ivanka Trump. She is a 35-year-old woman, not a child, and she can voice her opinion if she wants. If she actually believed in the empowerment of women, she would announce to the world that her father is a sexual predator who is dangerous to women on absolutely every level, both personally and politically. And she would lead the fight to impeach Trump before he can do any more damage.
He's a danger to women, personally and politically. That's why Ivanka Trump is like an abuse survivor and is so screwed up. Oh wait, no, she's fine, and she's rich and seems to still like the guy despite having 30 plus years of experience with him. If he's really that dangerous to women, then how is she okay? I don't understand. And if she wanted to lead the charge to impeach Trump, and oh my God, can you imagine the backlash that she would get? She would be cut off from her family. Like, I don't know what your family situation is, Rebecca, but I can't even imagine going against my father in like a public way like that, even if I thought he was wrong. It's just not my place to be so fervently against the people that raised me and gave me everything I have. Even if I have philosophical disagreements with them, even if I have different principles than them, it's just so wrong for me to turn around and spit in their face like that. And I think she's doing the logical thing by maybe funding leftists and donating the way she sees fit, but not speaking out so virulently against him. And that's the end of the video. I'm going to link the couple of articles she mentioned in her video below. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. It's just another example of a feminist completely missing the mark on who Donald Trump is at the core. They think he's this wretched monster, but no, he's just a 70-year-old bombastic weirdo. And there's so many things that you can say about Donald Trump that are correct and show that he is like not a particularly great president. He's not very effective, at least so far. He's done a few good things, and I'm not going to go through that here. But I think you can see what I'm trying to get at with this whole feminist hysteria thing, and why Ivanka Trump should be an ally of these noodle brains, but instead they're trying to push her away. All right, have a good one, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.